Sometimes we Americans are too shy to say so, but we're not feeling shy today. We Americans love France because we dedicate ourselves to the same ideals, that all people deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. France is our oldest ally. You helped us win our independence. We helped liberate France from fascism. We owe our freedom to each other. We love France for your spirit and your culture, your joie de vivre. Since the attacks, Americans have recalled their own visits to Paris, visiting the Eiffel Tower or walking along the Seine. We know these places. They're part of our memories, woven into the fabric of our lives and our culture. I'm very grateful to the French people for the hospitality they've always shown me. And when they welcomed Michelle and our daughters on their first visit to the City of Lights.
This is on Fox News.
In the residence.
It's 9:02.
Me and Michelle in Luxembourg Gardens. Kissing. Those are the memories we have of Paris. As early on, I had no gray hair. So when tragedy struck that evening, our hearts broke too. In that stadium and concert hall, in those restaurants and cafes, we see our own. In the face of the French people, we see ourselves. And that's why so many Americans have embraced the blue, white, and red. And that's why Americans at candlelight vigils have joined together to sing the Marseillaise. We've never forgotten how the French people stood with us after 9/11, and today we stand with you. Nous sommes tous Français. It's been noted that the terrorists did not direct their attacks against the French government or military. Rather, they focused their violence on the very spirit of France, and by extension on all liberal democracies. This was an attack on our free and open societies, where people come together to celebrate and sing and compete, and targeting venues where people come together from around the world, killing citizens of nearly 20 countries, including America. This was an attack on the very idea that people of different races and religions and backgrounds can live together in peace. In short, this was not only a strike against one of the world's great cities, it was an attack against the world itself. It's the same madness that has slaughtered the innocent from Nigeria to the Sinai, from Lebanon to Iraq. It is a scourge that threatens all of us. And that's why, for more than a year, the United States, France, and our coalition of some 65 nations have been united in one mission: to destroy these ISIL terrorists and defeat their vile ideology. Today, President Hollande and I reviewed our coalition's progress. More than 8,000 airstrikes, combined with local partners on the ground, have pushed ISIL back from territory in both Iraq and Syria. Today, President Hollande and I agreed that our nations must do even more together. U.S. assistance has supported recent French strikes in Syria, and we're going to keep stepping up that coordination. And as we saw with the attack in Mali, the terrorist threat goes beyond ISIL. This week I'll sign legislation to sustain our support, including airlift and intelligence, to allies like France as we work together to root out terrorist networks in Africa. We'll do even more to prevent attacks at home. Building on our recent intelligence agreement, the United States will continue to quickly share threat information with France. And in the wake of Paris and with the threats in Belgium, there's also a growing recognition among European nations that they need to ramp up additional efforts to prevent the flow of foreign terrorist fighters. As part of that, I'm calling on the European Union to finally implement the agreement that's been long in the works that would require airlines to share passenger information, so we can do more to stop foreign terrorist fighters from entering our countries undetected. And I'm prepared to send teams of our experts to work on this with our European partners to make sure we're redoubling our efforts together. Regarding the broader crisis in Syria, President Hollande and I agreed that Russia's strikes against the moderate opposition only bolster the Assad regime, whose brutality has helped to fuel the rise of ISIL. We agree that Russia could play a more constructive role if it were to shift the focus of its strike to defeating ISIL. Likewise, President Hollande and I agreed that the best way to bring peace to Syria is through the principles reaffirmed in Vienna, which require active Russian support for a ceasefire and a political transition away from Assad to a democratically elected government that can unite the Syrian people against terrorism. Finally, Francois and I understand that one of our greatest weapons in the fight against ISIL is the strength and resilience of our people. And here I want to speak directly to the American people. What happened in Paris is truly horrific. I understand that people worry that something similar could happen here. I want you to know that we will continue to do everything in our power to defend our nation. Since 9/11, we've taken extraordinary measures to strengthen our homeland security. Our counterterrorism, homeland security, and law enforcement professionals, federal, state, and local, they are tireless. They have prevented attacks and they have saved lives. They are working every hour, every day for our security. They did so before Paris, they do so now, and they will not stop. They're the best in the world. But it's not just our security professionals who will defeat ISIL and other terrorist groups. As Americans, we all have a role to play in how we respond to threats. Groups like ISIL cannot defeat us on the battlefield, so they try to terrorize us at home, against soft targets, against civilians, against innocent people. Even as we're vigilant, we cannot and we will not succumb to fear. Nor can we allow fear to divide us. But that's how terrorists win. We cannot give them the victory of changing how we go about living our lives. The good news is Americans are resilient. We mourned the lives lost at Fort Hood, the Boston Marathon, Chattanooga, but we did not waver. Our communities have come together. We've gone to ball games and we've gone to concerts and we've gone shopping, and men and women who want to serve our country continue to go to military recruiting offices. We're vigilant, we take precautions, but we go about our business. For those who want to harm us, our actions have shown that we have too much resolve and too much character. Americans will not be terrorists. I say all this because another part of being vigilant, another part of defeating terrorists like ISIL, is upholding the rights and freedoms that define our two great republics. That includes freedom of religion. That includes equality before the law. There have been times in our history, in moments of fear, when we have failed to uphold our highest ideals, and it has been to our lasting regret. We must uphold our ideals now. Each of us, all of us, must show that America is strengthened by people of every faith and every background. And related to this, I want to note that under President Hollande, France plans to welcome 30,000 additional Syrian refugees over the next 2 years. Here in the United States, refugees coming to America go through up to 2 years of intense security checks, including biometric screening. Nobody who sets
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Refugees.
That's
And we're
bullshit.
prepared to share these tools with France and our European partners. As Francois has said, our humanitarian duty to help desperate refugees and our duty to our security, those duties go hand in hand. On the Statue of Liberty, a gift from the people of France. There are words we know so well. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to be free. That's the spirit that makes us American. That's the spirit that binds us to France. That's the spirit we need today. In closing, I want to salute the people of Paris for showing the world how to stay strong in the face of terrorism. Even as they grieve, Parisians have begun returning to their cafes, riding the metro, going to stadiums to cheer for their teams. Crowds gathered in the Place de la République, including a mother who brought her children. She said, to let them see that we should not be afraid. As one Parisian said, Paris will always be Paris. And next week, I will be joining President Hollande and world leaders in Paris for the Global Climate Conference. What a powerful rebuke to the terrorists it will be when the world stands as one and shows that we will not be deterred from building a better future for our children. So, President Hollande, my fellow Americans, let's remember we faced greater threats to our way of life before. Fascism, communism, a First World War, a second, a long Cold War. Each and every time we prevailed. We have prevailed because our way of life is strong. Because we stay united. Because even as we are relentless in the face of evil, we draw on what's best in ourselves and in the character of our country. It will be no different this time. Make no mistake, we will win, and groups like ISIL will lose. In standing with allies like France, we will continue to show the world the best of American leadership. Vive la France. God bless the United States.
Viva la France. God bless America again. God bless America. God bless the President of the United States of America, giving the wisdom he lacks, the fortitude to understand his whole in grace of God.
Mesdames, Messieurs,
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me, first and foremost, to thank the President of the United States, Barack Obama, for the solidarity he has shown immediately as we found out about the terror attacks. He was the first one to call me. It was very late in France, 2 a.m., when Barack called. The President of the United States had already expressed his solidarity towards France, his emotion, his compassion against the horror. And on that night, he meant to tell me that the United States stood by France, that the help that could be provided to France would have no limit, and that we had a duty, a joint duty, to pull our forces together and fight terrorism.
je n'oublie pas non plus
I do not forget either all of the messages that the American people sent to the French people over the past few days. The French colors, the French flags, all around, in many gatherings, these candles in places that represent France, here in the United States. The Marseillaise, our national anthems, sung in official
c'est
ceremonies.
vrai que le 11
It is
septembre,
true that
les
9/11,
Français étaient américains. Et
we all felt Americans. But after the 13th of November, Americans felt French. Our two peoples together merged as one, sharing the same emotion and also the same willingness to fight for freedom, to stand for our values. We are not two similar peoples. We each have our own history. We have our own culture, our own background, but we share the same trust, the same faith in freedom. It is France that came under attack on the 13th of November. France, for what it is, the country which we consider unique in the world because France speaks to the world. France came under attack for what it represents, for what it stands for its culture,
mais aussi
our way of living,
ses valeurs.
as well as our values, our principles. But by targeting France, the terrorists, the cowardly murderers, were targeting the world. In these restaurants, in these cafes, as well as the Bataclan, that concert venue, there were men and women, most of them young, who came from 20 countries, at least. And they shared the same passion for life, and that's the reason why they were murdered. My thoughts are with the friends and family of a young American student, Nohimi Gonzalez, who came as well to share a moment of culture and joy. My thoughts also go to this American band that was playing at the Bataclan. Our cultures on that occasion were together to bring the same enthusiasm, and they were hit by terrorists. We are facing a terror group which organizes itself on the territory. They have some substantial resources. They are striving on smuggling of oil, drug, human beings. And since the beginning of the year, they hit many countries: Denmark, Tunisia, Lebanon, Kuwait, Turkey, Egypt, as well as Russia, by taking down a Russian plane. So together with President Obama, today we wanted, on the occasion of that meeting, first of all to share our determination, relentless determination to fight terrorism everywhere and anywhere. We also meant to tell the world that we will not allow those who want to destroy what we've built. We will not allow them to do it. To destroy what we've built generation after generation. They will not be able to damage the world. And against Daesh, we need a joint response, an implacable joint response. France and the United States stand together to bring that joint response. Militarily, it is about destroying Daesh, no matter where they are. It is about taking out their financing, hunting down their leaders, dismantling their networks, and taking back the land they currently control. We therefore decided, President Obama and myself, to scale up our strikes both in Syria and in Iraq, to broaden their scope, to strengthen our intelligence sharing regarding the targets we must aim at. The priority is to take back key locations in the hands of Daesh in Syria. It is also a matter of urgency
Entre la Syrie et la Turquie,
to close the border between Turkey and Syria and
notamment
prevent
en Europe.
terrorists from crossing the border and coming to Europe or other places and undertake such terrible attacks. We also took the decision to work together with our partners of the coalition in Iraq and to support all of those who are fighting Daesh on the ground.
et faire en sorte que ces forces-là
The aim is to make sure that these forces can be supported helped
l'ensemble des pays qui
by
veulent
all countries
sur le plan militaire.
that are willing to act militarily to destroy
La
Daesh.
résolution du Conseil de sécurité
The resolution of the Security Council that was voted unanimously Friday,
qui était proposée par la France et soutenue par les États-Unis.
after being introduced by France and supported by the United States,
Ce que fait la
this resolution provides us
le porte-avions
with a
chargé
clear basis
pour les
to
avions
act.
occidentales,
This is what France is currently doing. Our aircraft carrier, the Charles de Gaulle, is currently in the east of the Mediterranean and allows us to enjoy more capability. Yesterday, for the sixth
Par
time
ailleurs,
after the
nos
terror
avions
attacks
ont
in
poursuivi
Paris,
l'appui
we
aux
struck
combattants
Raqqa.
irakiens dans la région de
In
Ramadi.
addition, we've been provided some assistance to Iraqi
Ensuite, sur le plan
fighters
du
in the
renseignement,
region of Ramadi and in Mosul
Président
within
Obama
the
et
framework of
moi-même,
the coalition.
nous avons
Now,
décidé
diplomatically, both President Obama and myself
encore renforcer notre coopération.
have strengthened our cooperation as early
Et
as
je
night
salue
after
aussi tout
the
ce que nous
attacks.
faisons pour que les expertises des uns
I
et
would
des
like
autres
to commend
soient mises au service
everything that is being done
des
so
mouvements
that
qui peuvent
intelligence and
emprunter les
information
terroristes.
available keep.
I can't take no more. What is wrong with our military? The military of Russia, of France. I don't know whether Germany and United Kingdom are involved yet. All this mighty force. Why do you vacillate? I don't understand. You are educated, articulate. You have advisors that are generals. This audacity does not excuse the blame that America has vacillated too long. As the administration continues to call them what they are, Islamic terrorists, the State of Islam. What is the issue? I know the administration has brought down our military count to the point that it is as I say, it is not rocket science. This is not the first war. This is not the first World War. Are you going to hesitate like you did for Russia? I mean for Qaddafi, Israel. That's what's happening. All this rhetoric is nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The reality shows your thank yous don't meet the loyalty of Americans, where Christians are not being brought here. Do you trust government? Do you? I don't. I never have. But I've always prayed in grace that they would do the right thing. But what I have witnessed in this relic age of mine is government programs that are failures. Failures. Everything government touches turns to failure. This rhetoric is nice for the gullible, those that want to believe. I don't want to believe anymore. I want realities to walk. These are not perilous times. These are end-of-day times. The same question. When Yemen was in the dark, were other nations in the dark? Were other nations, were their enemies in the dark? Were they? When this starts to because it will start most soon. Then we're going to wait and be in fear, and as the administration, that's what they want. No, administration. What they want is us dead. Dead. And yet, you turn on Fox News. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Fox News. I don't. I don't. Anyway. To hear O'Reilly question our president like that is an abomination. He knows, O'Reilly knows what's walking. The fathers. In grace of God be blessed, and amen to other men.